Oh, look,
Yeah,
we're
no,
on here, we're
I
on.
Sometimes
Surprised
don't be
us.
doing those things. People have been complaining.
That
So
was.
Like, we don't allow you to talk. No, like,
Yeah, because if I don't talk first, it creates problems.
For who?
Dr. Hasanan, good morning to you. Quality Medical Hospital, chain of the hospital. Dr. Hasanan, CEO. Good morning. It was your birthday. Couldn't wish you. Good morning to you. I also have this one from Philip Nutekpo, Head of Department, Agrek, Chito Awudome, Senior High School. Good morning. And this one is coming from my friend Elo. So I hope that you enjoy your time. Now, all that we said.
Roland actually sent me a request that I forgot, so I didn't do it.
Yeah, no, because it's not your habit.
Maybe I
so
should.
Because of what I'm doing now, it's a whole merchandise this year. Birthday receipt.
I see.
So when I go onto my Twitter, is there plenty?
So how lucrative? How lucrative is this business?
I haven't put money.
You sent me
don't
from
let
Mr. Barabu
Ken will
Bright.
come and search at me.
They should just
Please
pay
listen to
whatever
your
they like.
request. Mr. Barabu Bright in Vasek, Vakpo, to wife Barabu Esther and child.
I sent you that.
Barabu Yaya Binti Bright, I didn't even know that. In Georgia. Yeah, this was at the time the child turned 1.
I'm sure somebody sent me.
He has already collected and chopped the money. You are now delivering.
Yeah, I'm doing a dry request.
He says he doesn't charge specific amounts. He doesn't charge a specific amount. But whatever you want to give,
just Momo.
Is that the way it works?
No, please.
Whatever you want to
There's
give,
no money.
his Momo number will be on the bottom of
Enemies
it.
are not God.
Would you also like to talk last? Since you
I
insist on talking first,
I don't mind.
should we let you talk last as well?
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Okay. Don't worry, okay? We got you. We got you.
Yeah. So quickly, let's do the Go Street business. On the front page of the Go Street business, Mama, we haven't welcomed you. Good morning. Welcome. Since you returned from that trip, you know,
Is Robert Comer watching the show this morning?
Wembley Sports Construction Chief Executive. So
I said,
you went to Dubai. Then you went. Where did you go to Dubai? Malaysia.
So how American is it? Charlie,
It's like the political communicators. What they want to say, their response, they've sized it up. So whatever you.
Okay, guys, let's do the newspapers, shall we? Do we start really with the Gold Street business?
Would you like to start?
Yes.
Oh no, I don't mind.
Yeah, so
sure?
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, start.
Gold Street business. Front page, we have 18 mutual funds still without fund managers 3 months after SEC's license revocation. As on the front page, please make sure that you stay tuned. We also have new measures to counter fake drugs sales coming into effect. And then Ministry of Food and Agriculture unveiling 5-year plan to curb poultry imports. That's on the front page of the Gold Street business. And the paper is here, don't worry. It's not here on your screen, we have it. So let's go to this one. The Ghanaian Observer says EC to kickstart exercise in April. Also today. And then we also do have Agojo get 500,000, is it 50,000? Okay, 500,000 Ghana cedi bill. And then digital TV switch over to begin mid-year. That's by June this year, according to the communications minister. And the Daily Guide is reporting Nana gets 326 million pounds. Okay, I thought you were not. Okay, from the United Kingdom, and that has been dominating the news from yesterday.
That's about 1.8 billion cedis or more, actually.
How much are we using for the election?
Probably more than 2 billion cedis.
This one, the election will take half, or I think more than that. Okay, so we have Opuni fertilizer drinkable. Witness Agojo granted 500,000 Ghana cedi bill. NDC in election violence rehearsal.
Hey.
Is that how
you think so?
You mean the headline, the way it was captioned. Today newspaper says Indum versus Bank of Ghana. BOG dragging proceedings. And then Yem Pene demo hits EC in Kumasi. That's the Today newspaper. Sorry we didn't bring you that. Please, can you do that?
Sure, thank you. I have the Ghanaian Times, the Ghanaian publisher, and the Daily Dispatch. Let's go through the headlines real quick. Ghanaian Times banner headline. At the 2020 Ghana Investment Opportunity Summit in London, let's commit to intra-Africa trade. And that's the president who said that. Also on the front page, 4 Galamseyers trapped to death in a pit. ACP Agojo granted 500,000 Ghana cedis bail. NDC and other parties demo against compilation of new voters register. Page 17 has details of that. And on the back this morning, revised model standard orders for MMDAs launched in Accra. Also, Kintampo waterfalls attract more tourists, and lots of people in a frivolous mood at the waterfalls are featured in a picture with that story. Okay, I've got the Ghanaian Publisher as well this morning. And here's the banner headline. Akufo-Addo grabs £326 million of investments. So it's investments, it's not cash. That's even better, I think, you know, because £326 million of investments can give birth to quite a lot of things, including jobs and revenue for many others. Okay, 10,000 YEA beneficiaries to receive startup capital. It says capitals. That is not correct. It should be capital. Mahama's teacher policy questioned. NDC and others protest in Kumasi against new register. And ACP Agojo granted 500,000 Ghana cedis bail. That's the front page of the Ghanaian Publisher. And I'll do the Daily Dispatch finally. And Mrs. Maye Ahoy, I think is the name, passes on at 97 years. And our thoughts are with the family. New voters registration will begin in April and end in May, according to the EC. Arthur K. on Our Health, page 11, has details. NPP will not protect any sitting MP, that's John Bwedu. There will be no treated water in Western region if Galamsey persists. That's the Ghana Water Company's warning. And NDC organizes demo in Kumasi against new voters register. Everybody reporting on that today. And I think that is the dispatch done, all covered.
Let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper front page. ACP Agojo granted bail. There are conditions to that bail. Also for parish in Galamsey pits at Elembele. Pienim Yamson wants dissolution of Forex Committee after Secretariat ready by March. President affirms at investment summits. The story on ACP Agojo. Well, the judge yesterday said the state should not be allowed to speculate and gamble with the rights of individuals. He is to report himself twice a week to the IGP or his representatives, also to the BNI, which is once a week for 3 months, after which he must report himself every 2 weeks. The reporting will run concurrently. So that's it for Mr. Agojo. But in the center spread of the paper, Pinnick protest held in Kumasi. Ghana must strengthen institutions to achieve SDGs. Ghana to host Afro Nation Beach Festival. So you know by now, it's going to go on for the next 5 years. There's a contract that's been signed. The Ghana Tourism Authority, on behalf of the government of Ghana, has signed a memorandum of understanding with Event Horizon, organizers of the Afro Nation Festival, for Ghana to host the biggest urban music beach festival in the world for the next 5 years. Questions were raised. People attributed the success to the year of return. So how are we going to maintain this if we're going to be doing it for the next 5 years? But the fact that, it's a whole national event means that if we want to, we will do it. Back page of the paper, operational factors force Ghana Water Company Limited to ration water. And then mining of bauxite in Etiwa Forest. Residents of communities protest. Says residents of communities around the Etiwa Forest in the eastern region yesterday embarked on a protest against the proposed mining of bauxite in the forest. It's on the back page of the paper. The protesters carried placards, some of which read, "Save Etiwa Forest Now, Etiwa is our heritage, and save our water bodies." They later converged on Chebi, the capital of the Chim Abuakwa traditional area, to express their misgivings through a press conference. Details of that petition in the paper today. I also wanted to quickly just go to page 20 and share a bit of what Mr. Pienin and Mr. Yamson have been telling the Daily Graphic. The two senior citizens have called on the government to dissolve the Foreign Exchange Development Committee that was inaugurated on January 13 this year to review the country's foreign exchange regime, identify constraints, and offer workable alternatives that can reduce risk to the economy. So first here, Mr. Pienim. Mr. Pienim, for instance, says that the dissolution was necessary to ensure that Ghana did not waste time and resources to undertake an exercise that the Bank of Ghana was already undertaking. And according to him, beyond the fact that the committee was needless, its terms of reference were in conflict with the constitutional mandates of the Bank of Ghana, which is the statutory body in charge of currency and financial stability in the country. So that's Mr. Pieni making his argument there. But then there's also Mr. Yamson. Quickly, I just want to share a bit of what he's also been telling the Daily Graphic in reaction to this. So for instance, he says that he is yet to read the speech that Mr. Duboahin, that's a deputy finance minister, read at the inauguration of the committee. But Mr. Yamson says he was happy that senior economists and respected people such as Mr. Pidon had come out to criticize its formation. The former chairman of the University of Ghana Council explained that it was not within the Ministry of Finance to find solutions to monetary issues, which were the preserve of the Bank of Ghana. He added that issues to do with the exchange rate, foreign currency management, and the general monetary sector of the economy were the responsibilities of the Bank of Ghana, and so it was only proper that any effort to develop FX market should be championed by the central bank. This is a monetary policy issue, and we have to be careful that the two institutions do not start fighting each other instead of focusing on what each of them has to do and do very well, he said. So these are big giants in this area, you know, making very objective commentary on this committee that's already generated
a lot of controversy.
Exactly.
Especially getting to know that not many government communicators and representatives, I mean key top government communicators on most of the finance issues had immediately reacted to this following the brouhaha that followed, or the comments that were raised in relation to this. And I remember Kojo and I were on this platform on Monday, and we asked some of the critical questions of Dr. Lord Mensah, particularly how this, in essence, is not a way to say that, look, we think we need to show up how the performance of the CDA is, etc. But the bottom line is how we have inflows of FX, how they tend to circulate when they come domestically is always what the central bank should be concerned about. Because, look, where does it come from? It comes from the central bank to the commercial bank before it gets to the local markets.
And by local markets, do you mean the local, you know, black market? Yeah. I think the other important thing is that there is a question of jurisdiction here. You know, the Bank of Ghana is supposed to be an autonomous body, and it has specific responsibilities, including the management of FX. So I think there is a need for some clarity around how this committee is feeding into the work of the Bank of Ghana, whether the Bank of Ghana is the one that is mandating them to do whatever they do. And if not, then whatever they come out with, is anybody under obligation to follow it? You know, because it would be the Bank of Ghana's job to implement anything in the FX, you know, realm. So if this committee of 40 people sit together for days, weeks, months, and come out with some long, you know, paper,
of what use would that be?
Yeah, who is supposed to act on it, and is that person obliged to do so? Or is this just an exercise in politeness? You know, are they all going to sit around and, you know, come up with great ideas after which nothing will happen? You know, so some understanding of how these two institutions are, you know, working together, whether the Bank of Ghana is in any way related or associated to what is happening. That's, I think, requires some clarity.
Concerns. And I was listening to our colleagues on there, Ekosi saying 2 days ago, you know, they raised the issue. I think one of the concerns earlier was the fact that the economic management team was not aware of this, or at least they had nothing to do with this. So, you know, they were talking about how the vice president's office did not know about the existence of this committee, and it was such a surprise. But there was the General Secretary of the NPP coming on the show, and he sought to clarify a few things. So first he said, well, this committee is one that exists already at the Ministry of Finance. It's just the way it was outdoored with the press.
So all this time,
Otherwise,
Franklin Kujo has been on a committee at the Finance Ministry,
not necessarily
managing
with the members,
foreign exchange.
Not necessarily. I guess not necessarily with the members, but then at least
then it's not the same committee.
Not the same committee, but there is a certain committee that does this kind of work. In fact, like us in with this mandates.
But that makes it worse.
And then,
so that means there's a committee there already, and we've set up another 40-member
no,
one.
maybe we dissolved it and we formed another one. But then they all did agree. You know how we did Senchi?
Are you explaining this on behalf of the General
No, I'm not. I'm only telling you what he said because it's interesting. I found it really interesting. Yes, exactly. Okay. Admission of the fact that, if you did something like this, you're admitting that there is really a problem. You remember Senchi and how the MPP didn't take part.
Yes, yeah.
And so, people were trying to say, okay, this is another Senchi right there.
40-member Senchi.
Exactly. But then there was also, another thing. The Vice President's office, they spoke to somebody from there.
That's Gideon Wako.
Gideon Wako, who said, okay, it's not everything that has to be from the Vice President's office, as in the management team, and that the Ministry of Finance can also do things, by itself because it's a separate entity.
But the head of the Ministry of Finance, is he not part of the EMT?
There are different people. In fact, if you
read the economic management team, which is headed by the vice president, is Mr. Kenneth Oyata not a member of that team?
Yeah.
Look,
he is,
this
right?
thing happens a lot. This thing happens a lot in Ghana. We have the head of CID being a board member at the Office of the Special Prosecutor, yet they can clash over who should investigate which case. Meanwhile, they are part of the same organization. So this thing happens a lot. I'm not saying this to say it's right. I'm saying it to say we have a problem.
Yeah.
Is there a problem?
Yeah, don't you think so?
So it's
well,
it's just,
I think there should be some clarity. If you know you're doing this work, you inform this.
I think in the end, we, all of us do agree that we haven't had the best of communication around this committee.
Yeah,
we haven't.
I mean, since
and you guys spoke to Franklin Kujo on Monday. But really, should it be Franklin Kujo explaining things to us?
He didn't even comment, apart from his Facebook comment that he made.
In fact, we talked to him on something else, didn't we?
It was on
about the electoral EC register. Yeah.
Okay, so at least this will, but it's refreshing, hearing from Mr. Pini and Mr. Yam saying you can read details of that. Let's define that front page. Ghana secures 326 million pounds. Roland, this is from the UK, so it should be pounds.
Yeah.
From UK government to finance 5 projects.
It's just that the way the finder did the sign of the pound.
It looks like euro, right?
Yeah, it's just the pound has only one stroke in the middle. And
where's the British man? Is that it?
I don't know which part of the world or which country in the world uses.
That's not the pound sign.
That's euro.
Yeah.
In fact,
no, it's not even the euro because the euro is a C.
With 2. This is somebody's own unilateral currency.
Yeah, maybe they just went to the word. This thing went to symbols.
Oh, it will be pound because if you look at what they have,
the correct one is in the page.
Okay.
Printers demon and printers devil or whatever they call it.
So we have quite a good number of African leaders in the UK because of
they're sharing some £6 billion, we're told.
But the BBC spoke to Yoweri Museveni not on investment but on Libya, and he had some very interesting thoughts to share. How African leaders, did not intervene and fight off the foreigners when they invaded Libya and killed Muammar Gaddafi. And that
they all
even though he had issues with Gaddafi, Africa has its own way of dealing with Gaddafi, and that's what we've always done over the years.
And now it looks like he was even more of a saint than
we could have fought them.
The nemesis of
and he used really, really, really strong words, Yeah.
And he also spoke about Chinese relations with Africa and why they prefer the Chinese instead of the Europeans.
Okay.
Because the Bretton Woods institutions, the World Bank, IMF, and the British, etc., will come telling you, oh, improve on health, democracy, and all that. But the Chinese, they don't tell you that. They also help to build energy plants and things for you, and you need it for industry. So.
All right, farmers complain that Litvovit's liquid fertilizer was water witness. I guess these are all details coming out of that ongoing trial. Seed funds moves to recover $3 million from Total, and this the Simony Limited High Court grants ACP Agojo 500,000 Ghana cedis bail, all on the front page of the Finder. Last paper, the Daily Statesman, caught in April as Agojo granted 500,000 Ghana cedis bail. NDC unleashes storm of insults. Voter register protesters paint Jean Mensah and Bossman Asari as two fools, in quotes. Ghana signs up for 5-year deal to host Afro Nation Festival. Guys, I am done. Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I thought the president grabbing 326 million pounds of investment was actually quite good. That is actually what these trips are supposed to be for. So it's kind of like you know, they've got some great results to show from this trip to the UK. 326 million pounds of investments. That's well over. Almost 2.2 billion Ghana cedis of investment. That's a lot. And then depending on where it is directed, this could really do a lot to boost our economy. This whole idea of Ghana Beyond Aid, this is what it's supposed to be about.
So we are upgrading the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital with some of the money.
Okay.
The new Kumasi Airport. A 250 bed
develop the Kumasi Airport or new one altogether?
I don't understand. You said Ghana Beyond Aid this is what it is about?
For the, okay, it says for the development of the new Kumasi Airport.
So they are calling this investments, okay?
No, but the monies we've been collecting in the past, haven't we been investing them in area?
Ghana Beyond Aid is what I referenced.
I know.
Yeah. So I'm not talking about loans. I'm talking about the fact that we are going beyond aid, not loans, aid. So when you see, you know, people bringing in money to invest in important and crucial sectors like this, it's positive, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Another thing that happened.
Sitting on our books?
Of course it is. That's how it works, isn't it? But it's not aid, is it? So anyway, the other thing I think was really good was that they signed, and the Statesman reports this, they signed a 5-year deal for Afro Nation. Now that was massive. I think perhaps we need to give a bit more education to the public about how much money was spent in and around this Afro Nation thing. The number of tickets they sold in advance abroad, you know, and the number of people who came here specifically for that. It was like a 3 or 4 day event. How massively well attended it was, and the fact that if we have a 5-year plan, if we know that it's coming every year for 5 years, it's an opportunity for businesses to invest, you know, and plan around it and make even more money from it. So another positive from that trip. Yeah. Nanyan, shall we do sports?
Yeah, let's talk about Chelsea and Arsenal. Where are they?
Look how excited you are.
I didn't watch the match yesterday.
What happened? Yeah, you didn't watch the. Well, what happened? Chelsea just couldn't finish a 10-man Arsenal.
About what was the score?
Stay with us. We've got details.
Did they draw? If they drew, then it's okay.
Really? Now, draw is like a celebration.
Oh, it's not bad. I think we're still within the.
For
top
me,
4.
It's just your enemy's enemy is your friend. So Arsenal is my best friend right now.
Well, going for sports.